House Kadik seems to have remained largely unscathed. How fortunate for them.
Great Serpent, watch over you.
This is exactly the impression we don't want to give.
Please, Jamal. Don't you see how all this works in our favor? It's not up for discussion. I won't risk what we've worked so hard to achieve. It's done.
No, you'd risk our future and reputation as a house. But you are the chosen elder.
Ah, don't patronize me. The Great Serpent spared our house. We are favored here. And shouldn't you get back to the council? We can't afford to be absent at a time like this.
I guarantee I'm not missing much. But you're right. I'll be heading back soon enough. Good to see you.
So, Akaris has sent... Don't worry. Jamal's already told me all about you. I'm Razma, Elder of House Kadik and head of the Ministry of Conjunction. Well, it's also an honor to meet one as interesting as yourself. I wouldn't have suspected an outsider to be made promised. But who am I to argue with the Great Serpent's choice? I understand, and I can't argue the importance. I know the Council is looking to Sahima for answers, but the truth is, she's been taken, along with other members of the House. They're being held hostage by zealots, and now they're demanding negotiations.
This is a major overreach. I have never known the Zealots to be so bold.
As much as I'd welcome the expertise, the Zealots would never allow an outsider to participate. But the negotiations aren't where I need assistance. The Zealots have yet to name specifics. At best, they'll demand an inordinate amount of credits or firearms. Worst case, a seat at the High Council or even the reinstatement of their house. House Maleen. They know we can't risk Sahima for Dazra's sake. So, they won't hold back when it comes to demands. Agreed. Which is why I'm hoping you can help. I need you to find the hostages. Bring them home, so the Zealots have nothing to leverage, and Sahima can work with the High Council. Normally I'd have agents doing everything possible to find them. But we too suffered losses. We need to be here. Present. I couldn't risk more lives. It's the only reason I even agreed to these negotiations. But now that you're here, I can finally take action. And that is where the issue lies. I don't know where the Zealots are keeping Sahima, but I have a good idea who does. Their name is Merrick. Merrick is a Kadik, and they also work for me as an agent in the Ministry of Conjunction. This is where matters get complicated. Then you can put those skills to good use. As I said, Merrick works for me in the Ministry of Conjunction. They've been establishing an inside relationship with the Zealots for some time now, on my orders. Forcing them to give up the information could jeopardize all they've worked for. So don't expect them to be forthcoming. Get the information any way you see fit, as long as no physical harm comes to them.
Understood.
See that you do. You'll find Merrick upstairs in the meditation room.
You're no member of House Kadik. What are you doing here? And you are? Ah, the heretic turned promised. I was wondering when our paths would cross. So tell me, what would a chosen one such as yourself want with someone like me? I'm sorry, did you say zealots? Why would I know anything about such extremists? Absolutely ridiculous. So much for confidentiality. I guess this means the High Council is still asking Auntie Razma where Sahima is. And if you're here making demands, she obviously has decided to make use of you rather than undergo sincere negotiations. I see what's going on here. On the contrary, I know how important it is to keep that information confidential. I've worked hard to obtain my position with the Zealots. And like I've told Razma 1,000 times, I have no reason to believe they're going to hurt my dear cousins, especially Sahima. So, as far as I'm concerned, that information stays with me. You make a good point for an outsider. And perhaps I should take your presence here as a sign. The location you're looking for is Shadow Station Epsilon. It's an old Varun base that they've taken over for themselves. Razma will know it. Let her tell you the details, seeing as how I'm about to be reassigned. Watch your tone. You may be promised, but you're still an outsider.
You must have gotten the location. Ah, yes, the old Varun military outpost. It's a remnant of the Serpent's Crusade. If my intel is correct, you can find Shadow Station Epsilon in the Badlands, north of Dazra. I can send you the coordinates. The sooner the better.
We will do whatever is necessary to bring Sahima and the others back safely.
Now that we have a rescue mission underway, I'll speak to Merrick about setting up the negotiations. I expect them to be pliable after their last encounter with you. The current plan is to hold them at one of the geothermal power stations. Meet us there when Sahima and the others are safe. Good. Serpent willing, your timing will line up. I'll stall the Zealots as long as I can, which shouldn't be an issue. That being said, I'd still appreciate it if you could act quickly. Now, Jamal wants an update before you leave. Just don't let her distract you for too long.
Armiger, a word before you go. Tell me, Armiger, what do you know about the Zealots? An oversimplified observation, but correct nonetheless. The Zealots are widely frowned upon within our society. They're a remnant of the Serpent's Crusade, days we'd like to forget. Has my dear sister given you any history on our house's relations with the Zealots? I'm surprised she even mentioned that much. Razma would have everyone believe she only wishes to keep an eye on the Zealots, so the Council can make informed decisions. The truth is, she's had this particular group of Zealots under her thumb for quite some time. This is only a problem now because she's lost control. That is the real reason why Razma hasn't informed the High Council, and I'm sworn to silence.
I would argue that what you describe would be considered treason. And rightly so.
Exactly. House Kadik already has a reputation for being sympathetic to the Zealots, but the truth is far worse. Razma wants the Zealots to back House Kadik, so the balance of power between the noble houses would shift to us. She's been employing them, paying them in supplies that aid their blind crusade. The Council knows nothing of her work with the Zealots, and I aim to keep it that way. All elders have their own ambitions. I'm certain that's all they see. What none of us expected was the disaster that is the Scaled Citadel. The aftermath is what allowed the Zealots to grab Sahima and the others, flipping the balance of power in their favor. Razma has lost control and is putting House Kadik's reputation and power at risk. And that's what I wish to speak to you about. House Kadik shouldn't be associating with Zealots at all, except on an extermination level. But worse, we absolutely cannot be supplying them with ordnance of any kind. We need to cut ties with the Zealots altogether. How astute. I want you to put an end to any connections between House Kadik and the Zealots. And while my position won't allow me to be blunt, I'll still make it clear. Should the hostages not survive, Razma would blame the Zealots and cut all ties.
House Kadik would go to any lengths, it seems.
I'm doing what I must to preserve this house. All you need to get is Sahima's research, which she has with her. I see I misjudged you. How unfortunate for us all. Well, should you change your mind, the offer still stands. And Armiger, this conversation stays between us.
That zealot had a key. You have to get me out of here. Who are you? Serpent's Grace, I knew it! I knew she wouldn't just leave us here to rot. It's more than just me. There are others. The Zealots have been using them to force me to continue my research here. They think I have all the answers since the original experiment was a catastrophic failure. So my theory is correct. Or I should say, the High Council now believes my theory, the better theory, is correct. I knew it! I told them their algorithms and insufficient testing were only giving the illusion of stability. But no one wants to listen to me. Not the girl who put people twice my age to shame when it came to assessments. Of course, this is what it would take for Razma to send someone after me. Negotiations? Oh, right. I'd almost forgotten. I overheard the Zealots mention negotiating with House Kadik, so the motivations are clear. Not only does the High Council deem me important, but Razma needs to remove me from the equation. I get it. But at least now everyone knows I was right. All right. First, we need to free the other hostages. The Zealots aren't aware of how I've been delving into their systems here. I told them I needed full access if they expect me to replicate Anasco's experiment, and I didn't even bother with risk assessment. They think I'm applying my theories to their poor excuse for technology down here. Granted, I could probably make it work if I had to. Right. Getting there. The other hostages are being kept just beyond this room. I can disengage the locks to their cell and grant you access to an elevator in the room beyond that will take them to safety. You just have to clear out that area first, and the Zealots down there are... different. Good. Those skills will prove useful then. While you get the rescue underway, I'm going to set up certain guarantees here. I'll meet you and the others outside. Well, you have to. I just need enough time to set up a remote device so I can launch a virus that will render this place useless. Think of it as a failsafe to guarantee our safety. The Zealots would never risk this base or their ships. Good. I'll see you outside.
Be merciful. Has help finally arrived?
Who are you?
What?
You aren't a zealot. Who are you? The Great Serpent is merciful. And Tahima? Did you find her yet? I wish it were that easy. The Zealots separated us. Our brethren are still out there. Please, I can ready my people here, but you'll have to deal with the Zealots and rescue the others so we may all escape safely. We'll be ready.
Great Serpent, protect me. Thank the Serpent. I thought I was done for.
Serpent safe. The Great Serpent has heard me. Thank you.
We all made it. We're safe. You did it! It's true what they say. The air really does smell fresher.
Serpent bless you. We owe you our lives. Thank you.
Correction, it's time for you to get back. I'm going to stay back a moment and make sure everyone here is okay to make it back safely. I'll catch up with you shortly. Just let me know where the negotiations are taking place. Don't worry. Razma came through for me. It's only fair I return the favor. I'll be there when it counts. Now go.
These members of your house have suffered. I can respect your decision.
The Great Serpent was truly watching over us.
Is your intent to be unreasonable the whole time? I thought this was a negotiation.
We're having a friendly chat, aren't we? It's not my fault you don't find my offers acceptable.
Nah, just the person I wanted to see. Please tell me you bring good news. Exactly what I wanted to hear.
Razma, who is this? You allow any commoner to just waltz in on official business. I'd expect better security from House Kadik.
This is hardly official business.
Yes. And now these so-called negotiations are over.
Over? You'd risk everything after the whispers of a stranger. I demand to know who this is. House Kadik dealing with outsiders? Only a complete fool would expect me to believe this.
It's true, Mihail. And if you don't leave now, peacefully, I'll make sure your ships and Shadow Station Epsilon are made dust.
You... How did you... You're bluffing.
Test me. You think a genius mind like mine wouldn't find a way to hack into every system in your base? This remote device will launch a virus that will detonate systems within Epsilon, and reach your ships as well.
You realize how this may affect future partnerships, Razma. You'd jeopardize our connections.
It jeopardizes nothing. It merely restores the natural order.
The natural order. I could take you all out here and now. You know every one of us is prepared to answer the Serpent's call.
Are you sure?
You launch that virus, and I guarantee blood will spill. What's there to reconsider? No, but it's the death they know is possible. Besides, you think I'd turn my back on the insults thrown here today?
You mean, do we think you'd throw away your life and the lives of everyone at Shadow Station Epsilon over your pride, Mihail? No, I for one don't think you will. And you can't deny our partnerships have been beneficial for us both.
We'll see about that. The entire refuge? It can't be possible. You make a fair point. A weak argument. Enough talking! This ends now.
All the passage will be made to dust.
House Kadik is in your debt.
As am I. I owe you my life.
Sahima, you are a part of this house.
I know. I just wanted to say thank you. Personally. And here, it's the research and algorithm the High Council wants. I'm sure they'll appreciate it more coming from you. Oh, I am. Very. I just don't think the High Council is ready for the series of I told you so's that I would surely inundate them with. Plus, I think I'll wait until after they've proven out my theories to approach them on that topic. I'm going to head back home now to check on the others, but maybe come find me later? Great. You can find me at the Great House whenever you get the chance.
We'll talk later, Sahima. As I was saying, House Kadik is in your debt. You've helped me maintain a very precarious balance. And one day it will. But until then, they're a necessary evil. One that we'll be keeping a much closer eye on. I'd appreciate it if you kept this a secret. Good. The others involved know better than to speak of this. You seem to be understanding our society quite well. Now, I have much to do, and so do you. Ekris and the High Council will be expecting you.
Serpent will deliver us from our hardships.
You do not understand. I saw a Naspo, took measure of his burdens.
Ah, were you able to find Sahima? Perfect. I have no doubt Sahima's work is the key to stabilizing the morning device. If only the others had listened to her, we may not have lost so much of our great city. This leaves houses Dulkef and Vathol.
Politics can wait. Every moment we delay, a Nasco descends further into the void.
for the last time. Faith will not remove the barrier. Science will.
It is the hubris of science that failed you in this moment. We reached out to the Great Serpent. This is his reply.
You claim he has forsaken us?
I do no such thing. The Great Serpent's reply is not an answer, but a question. Are we worthy of his grace? Until that is proven, your works will not succeed.
It sounds like you agree with me.
And yet, only one is the foundation for the other. But the proof is not in our words. It is in the vision. Anasco's presence still persists in this world, and he seeks our aid.
Fine. I feel like I've lived this argument 1,000 times, and the only way to move past it is to concede to its nonsense. Armiger, speak to my sister. Agree to her fool's errand so that we may continue the work of saving this city.
The Great Serpent sends you to me once again. I have seen visions of Anasco searching for one bold enough to enter the heart of the vortex. And now that you are here, I know your arrival was no accident, but rather providence.
Pass on your concerns.
Good. See, the pressure isn't bad enough. I'm tired of being checked on.
Well put. The Great Serpent's works are imperceptible, even to heralds like myself. But rest assured, all will be revealed when you journey north. At the edge of the crater, you will find a cave carved by the anomaly. There, you will make contact with Anasco Varun.
It would be unwise to ignore the Herald's counsel.
It is as the Great Serpent foretold. In my visions, I witnessed two futures. In the first, you breached the scaled citadel, but found Anasco had sunk too far into the void. And in time, all of Dazra was consumed along with him. Indeed, but there is another path. In the second future, I saw you make contact with Anasco, entering a cave through a formless wall. At its terminus was a gate, a path into the realm where our speaker resides. You stepped into this void, and in that moment, something changed. The false future, rewritten.
Roughly speaking, it could be that entering the vortex directly would allow you to speak with him. And while my readings do not show any anomalous activity, I admit there's a lot of interference. Still, that only emphasizes the potential danger involved here. I cannot approve of such an excursion on the minute chance Anasco is present. I am no heretic, but to risk so much on a vision, it is a leap of faith I cannot condone. I will not stand in your way, however, as Inaza has stood in ours.
You may not realize it now, dear brother, but our goals are one and the same. Then you must embark to the northern edge of the crater. You will find an entrance there, one that has no form. Step through it, find Anasco, and complete the vision. Only then will his voice be heard.
Have you abandoned me, Great Serpent? Do you not hear my pleas? You understand me? Hear my voice? But I do not know you, even if you are promised. I hesitate to ask, but what manner of being are you? Do you truly serve his will? No. I have heard my grandfather's tale of the moment of contact. You are not what he described. But to see you here, perhaps the Great Serpent works through you. That, in this dark moment, would be enough. I have reached out so many times to hear nothing but echoes. Yet you, an outsider, hear me playing. And for the first time, I hear you. Clearly your arrival here is fated. By stepping into this void, we are now linked. There is still reason to hope. The Great Serpent will see us through. But time is short. The bridge collapses. The gate is still open. The experiment still runs. Find me in the Scaled Citadel. I will wait for you there.
You return. What news do you have of Anasco? Then my vision did not betray me.
Well, it would seem I owe you an apology, sister.
There is no need, brother. Your skepticism only strengthens us.
As you say. But, to the matter at hand, did Anasco mention anything that could aid us in his extraction? Yes, the pinnacle of the Citadel was modified to house the equipment to create a gate to the Vortex. If it still runs, that would explain everything we have experienced since the initial incident.
It is much more than that. Normally when I pray for Anasco's return, I sense he is lost, fading. But when I last prayed to the Great Serpent, I felt Anasco's presence clear and distinct. Even as it receded, I felt him anchored to this world. Yes, there are some who suggest that when Jinan communed with the Great Serpent, a similar bond had been established. I believe the same is true for you and Anasco.
I would need time to attempt a scientific explanation for why or how this happened, but for now, let us assume my sister is correct.
And that is the essence of faith. I do not know what lies ahead. My visions do not go beyond this point. But I do know this link will play a role. In fact, I am certain of it.
Agreed. And with this settled, we can now continue the work of aligning the noble houses. Together, we will find a way to complete the mourning device.
Almost served.
Hopefully the soldiers are all out on missions or patrols and not gone.
I am sure you know what I am referring to.
Apologies, you do not have approval to trade with me.
The High Council needs access to the power grid if we hope to restore the city. Your inability to provide a legitimate excuse for denying them will only last so long.
Victoria is right. I know you're angry, but you can't let personal matters interfere with what may be best for everyone.
Personal matters? This is a Ministry of State matter, and I will handle it as I see fit. He is a traitor. He turned his back not only on his family, but on our people's entire belief system. The fact that he still breathes is a stain upon the House Vethal name.
You would doom us all with your pride.
I will do as I please as head of this house. If you are not a member of House Vethal, you do not belong here. Another High Council lackey come begging? I told Lovik no more!
Forgive my brother. He has been forgetting his manners of late. Victor, this is Anasco's chosen. You recall Lovik sent word.
I recall he spoke of a newly anointed promised. And we do not need help, especially from an outsider.
You can't continue to refuse the council. You must act. Your inaction is killing you.
Precisely, which is why he leaves me no choice but to say this. My nephew Varric has left, and until he returns, Victor refuses to assist the council.
These are hardly matters for the ears of an outsider. Of course not. You are an outsider. You have no understanding of our house.
Is this not the opportunity you've been looking for, brother? A third party capable of finding Varric?
Yes, you said so yourself. Someone with no loyalties to speak of. And if he's become promised, truly his arrival is more than coincidence.
Serpent, give me strength. You both speak true. Perhaps I have reacted in haste. Tell me, Armiger, are you well practiced in discretion? I have heard reports on Ryujin from the Ministry of Conjunction. This news gives me hope. As Vittoria mentioned, my son, Varric, has left. Essentially, he has abandoned his post. And not only did he turn his back on his house, but the Great Serpent as well. He is a traitor and must be dealt with as such.
Victor, surely you don't mean it.
He does, Luther. He is allowing his fervent pride and anger to cloud his judgment. What my brother is trying to say is that he wishes his own son dead. First, we lose Vashti to that malignance tearing through Dazra. And now you so willingly offer up Varric. As if our house has not suffered enough loss already.
Of course it would. As someone from the settled systems, you have no concept of what the Great Serpent demands of us. I do not wish Varric dead, but as head of the Ministry of State, he left me no choice. All must serve. Those who refuse will be met with death. And showing leniency for a house member at a time like this when order is needed most would be unwise.
The law. Our work is not so simple, and you know it. You act as if death is the only answer. What about forgiveness?
I will not risk the Ministry's authority on the actions of my own son, even if he is my chosen heir. If the High Council wants my cooperation, I need you to find Varric and carry out his sentence.
And I would ask you to spare him. My brother is acting under impulse, not reason.
I have never been more clear. Speak against me one more time, and you will regret it. Varric has a signet ring with House Vithal's family crest. Bring it to me as proof of death. Only then will I grant you access to the power grid. See that you get it done. I recommend you start by speaking to patrons of the Herald's Rest. Some of Varric's associates there may know where he went, but keep in mind, anyone who has directly aided him in hiding is an accomplice and shares his fate. Good. And remember, absolute discretion. All anyone needs to know is that you are looking for Varric for personal reasons. I will not risk word of his disappearance getting out before I can say the situation has been handled.
I miss our home, but the keep shall do.
Favorite from the meatbox. So badly, just the way you like.
As
to keep busy, lest you lose your purpose as well as your
No. What do you want? Can't you see I'm busy? Oh, you just revealed the question of the day. Where is Varric Vathal? The worst thing that can possibly happen, happens. And then he disappears. I mean, come on, we're supposed to be friends. Exactly. You get it. You'd think B would at least be commiserating with me. But I'm suddenly too drunk to deal with. Some friend she is. All she cares about is Varric. Right? That's what we do. When we lost people to the so-called incident, we banded together. I just want Varric to show up so things can get back to normal. Whatever that is. Did he trust me? I just don't know anymore. I want to help, but I really can't think of anything. Wait. I think I remember something now. Tane! He mentioned talking to Tane one day about getting off-world, seeing the settled systems. We never thought he was serious, and even if he wasn't... Tane still might know something. Tane's a regular. I'm sure he'll be by any minute if you just want to take a seat.
There was never a time when I was old enough to be allowed to drink alcohol here.
This bar is the only thing keeping many people sane.
Things start looking up soon around here.
Can I get you anything?
Hey, aren't you that outsider made promise that showed up here recently? Oh, wow. You really bought in, huh? I'm an outsider myself. It's hard to get into the whole giant snake thing. Tell me about it. I've been toting stuff back and forth for these people for years and still get the cold shoulder most places I go. But then these people lose half their city and you show up, and suddenly it's divine intervention. It sure has, to say the least. Anyway, enough about that. What can I do you for? That's so. Well, I guess that depends, Armiger. Who wants to know? Oh, sure. You just show up out of the blue and suddenly want to know where to find House Vathal's #1 son? And I know he wasn't lost to whatever ate up half of Dazra. Plenty of people have seen him since. Although, let's just say after what went down here, my retirement's looking imminent, and I haven't exactly been saving up for a rainy day. So if you're feeling generous, maybe we can help each other out. Not even gonna buy me dinner first? Sounds like someone's repping for House Vathal. But hey, I guess staying alive isn't the worst deal. I'm pretty sure he's heading into the Highlands. Just not sure where. But I do have the means to track him. So you just say the word and we're off to the races. You make it sound creepy. But yeah, for emergencies. After you. Once we're outside of Dazra, I'll fire up my tracker, and fingers crossed, it'll lead us right to him. Just head out the west gate. Should be the fastest route.
A temporary encampment, but not an uneventful stay for the occupant.
There's gotta be something here to clue us in as to where he went. I could have done without that. All my years and all the planets I've been on. Never gonna get used to those things. Terror, what? I think I'll pass. At least I don't see a body around here, so I hope that means Varric's alive. You find anything? Injured? Hope he doesn't bleed out by the time we find him. Well, what's next? Varric must have fled in a hurry since his tracker's still here. So guess the rest is up to us. Sounds like a plan. And hopefully that injury slows him down enough for us to catch up. Let's head back down and see what we can find. And by we, I mean you.
This unit is programmed to protect these growths by any means necessary.
That's far enough, strangers. You want to tell me what you're doing on my property uninvited? Well, you won't find him here. This isn't exactly the type of place where house members frequent. Of course, fellow promised. Please forgive my abruptness.
Yeah, you here obligated? You know it must be house business.
Indeed, brother. All must serve.
Irina, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Zen, yes, I know quite well. Never mind my partner, they're just overly cautious. As I said before, I've never seen Varric Bethal. We keep to ourselves. There's no reason for a path to cross. But we did aid an injured young man a few days ago.
That's gotta be Varric.
It's too coincidental. It must have been him. We sent him north. There's a long-abandoned growth farm we felt he could make use of. He claimed he lost everything in the incident that swallowed half of Dazra. He wanted to start a new life. We even gave him 2 of our own growths to get started.
Thanks for the help.
All must serve.
This unit is performing a software update. Please do not attempt further conversation.
It's been a minute since I stretched the old legs. Nothing going on out here. How about you? Find anything? Sounds like it's a waiting game then.
It seems I have uninvited guests. You want to explain yourselves?
Whoa, 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 hey, it's me. Dang. Put the gun down already.
It's not you I'm concerned about. It's your friends.
Rightfully so.
I wish I could say I was pleased to meet you, but something tells me this isn't a social call. Please, if you're here on my father's orders, allow me to plead my case. If I can't appeal to your sense of duty, perhaps your sense of compassion will do. I am not sure how familiar you are with our culture, but all I've ever wanted was the right to choose. I was born House Vithal. I was raised to inherit the role of Elder, to run the Ministry of State, to worship the Great Serpent. But I want none of it.
They really got into your head with the whole promise thing.
This is how the houses operate. Manipulation at its best.
It's never mattered how much I tried to reason with him. My father simply would not let me go. His pride and the fear of what it would mean for House Vithal is all he cares about. But it should matter. All I want is to make my own life. Something Tane understood and was willing to help me with.
The credits help too, but yeah, guess you got the whole scoop now. Yeah, I needed a way to find him once he got outside the city. I lost my ship to the incident, so I didn't want Barrick running off thinking I could just grab him and go. I was also out all the credits he was gonna pay me. That's where you came in. I figured, why not 2 for the price of 1? I didn't realize it was gonna turn into a whole thing.
So, now you know my true intentions for leaving, and given the circumstances, I may be here for some time. My hope now is to make the best of it here. I can't do that. The truth is, the scaled citadel was the last straw. My people are so blinded by faith and politics, they don't see how it's destroying us. Anasko Varun eliminated half our population in the blink of an eye. My sister Vashti among them. I could no longer live in a society that won't put its people first. That would destroy itself in the name of a god that has done nothing for us.
I don't think you've been picking up what he's putting down. Varric's done with that life. He's not going to turn to a god that may have wiped out half his city or support a people that are a danger to themselves.
I hope you can see why I want to walk away from all this. To start my own life. I ask that you give me that chance. No, I can't go back. I want nothing to do with that life. It's not that I want to let anyone down. I'll just be one more name among the others. True. The idea of being on the run for the rest of my life isn't appealing. You're right. It's something I've strongly considered. I hadn't considered that. All right. I concede. I can see how I may have acted abruptly. Vashti's death. So much devastation. So much loss. But will my father even take me back? Returning to Dazra is something I can hardly believe myself. So point made. I'll need to make some preparations before I return. Gathering my things and making sure Bella and Boris are taken care of. I'll be along shortly.
Same here. I'm going to stick around and help Barrick out. Besides, I don't think I want to be around when you report back to Victor. Do me a favor and find me later at the Herald's Rest.
Brother. All must
What
serve.
news do you bring, Armiger?
Serpent, be merciful. You spared him.
Is this true? You allowed a traitor to live. You did what?
Victor, this is great news. Truly, the Great Serpent has guided him back to you.
Well, not exactly the Great Serpent, but I have returned nonetheless. Father, I admit I had no intention of coming back, but the Armiger found me. He helped me see under a different light. Will you forgive me?
Victor, how dare you stall when your son has asked your forgiveness?
Could it be?
Father, I have returned out of love and support for you and House Vital. I am ready to dedicate myself fully.
Do you have any idea the trauma you have caused me? The damage you could have wrought upon this house?
It was never my intention to harm you or this house. Losing Vashti. So much devastation. I feared we devoted ourselves blindly to a path that would lead to our end. I let my emotions get the best of me. I lost my way, but I have returned. Repentant and ready to serve.
You know me so well, do you?
The Armiger may not, but I do. And you know he speaks truth. Varric is every bit his father's son.
So I stand corrected. Varric, I have always seen myself in you, son. Even the weaker emotional side. Much like your aunt does for me, I know Vashti did for you. She was your anchor. It should be no surprise how her death drove you away.
Thank you, Father. All I ask is for your understanding and forgiveness.
And you shall have it.
It's good to have you back with us, Varric.
You put my son back on the right path and guided him home.
Come, Varric. Let us get you resettled.
Now that we have a bit more privacy, I wanted to discuss the matter of any traitors among us. Did you find anyone who aided my son in his treachery? Good. Unfortunately, I have heard ramblings among the people of Varric's disappearance. Wardens are dealing with the matter as we speak. But, while not the orders given, you restored this house and have my gratitude. Here, the access code that Ekris needs to connect to the power grid. Now go. Obviously, my son and I have much to discuss.
All must serve.
Sorry, but you will have to get approval before you can buy any weapons now.
Serpent speed be with you, Armiger. Did Victor finally relinquish the access code? Excellent. We'll finally have the resources to fully charge the morning device. Now, let's hope House Steward Kef is as forthcoming as the others.
outsiders. We must rebuild Dazra to its former glory.
It is comforting to see that at least some places can maintain a degree of normalcy.
How did we end up here?
Excuse me, Agent. Can I...
House Varun must be able to rely on the Ministry of Commerce. We cannot fail. Hello, Armiger. Malibor has kept me informed of the situation. The deadlock of the High Council. I hope your presence here means things have changed. Good. Good. I'm pleased that the Council is once again working towards a solution. It felt wrong not to help. Do you know where I was when it happened? The incident, they call it. I was in the temple next door, conversing with my cousin. I was in the middle of replying to him about... you know? I don't even recall. Some meaningless bit of family drama, I'm sure. One moment, he was there, and the next, gone. My cousin, the floor, the wall, just gone. I found myself looking out at the scaled citadel, unable to comprehend. And now, here I stand, the elder of House Dulkev. My loss? Yes, I suppose. Although, from an outside perspective, one could consider it a fair trade, given my new role. Perhaps even a gain. Hardly. I was quite comfortable with my position within House Dulkev, and fully expected to remain where I was. You cannot imagine it. A single moment of pure, terrible silence. A meter's distance was all that separated me from whatever has become of Dazra. I find that through all the chaos and the scrambling since, my mind drifts back to that moment. I could be gone as well. But here I remain, spared. And I do not know why. And where is this forward leading? I'm sorry. I should shoulder my own burdens, not force them upon you. I've grown so tired of the Council squabbling, and I want no further part in it. I have no demands, no requests. All must serve, and House Dulkev is no exception. The Speaker has always been the guiding light of House Varun. In his absence, it is of no surprise that some would find themselves lost, stumbling in the dark. Here is what I can tell you. Sometime before our current calamity, Enesco Varun approached me looking for information about his grandfather's time. He was frustrated at the lack of progress. House Dulkev keeps extensive records, you see. While I was never told the exact reason behind the inquiry, I was able to deduce a fair amount. I provided him with the shipping manifests from the time of the Serpent's Crusade, materials and equipment that suggested some highly specialized research. I told Enesco where those materials had been sent. Weeks later, well, you've seen the Citadel. You know as well as any where we are now. The timing is too close to be coincidence. Enesco returned from the site in unusually good spirits. He boasted of something called the Vortex Interlock, and that it was the key to unlocking some new unseen potential. Whatever records exist of this interlock were swallowed up with the Citadel. And as for the original site, executors were sent. but did not return. And we can spare no more casualties. So I suggest you visit Malin Dam to the southeast. I believe it is more than it seems. It is the only place to learn more about these vortex interlocks and what connection they may have to the events at the Citadel. And should your search be fruitful, make sure it is known that House Dulceff was proud to serve when called upon.